Watts Occurring, everyone? Shudmai, how are we?
Watts Occurring? Hello, Shudmai.
Watts Occurring, how are we?
Oh, all the way over there. Gosh. Well, I feel like we're quite used to me and Emma doing the pod, just the two of us, in a bike shop in Manchester. But now we've got a big old audience, packed room.
I know.
But we're here to chat all about the podcast. Luke, obviously 6 years ago now, back in 2019, you and G decided to launch Watts Occurring. Millions of downloads later. Take us back to the very start. Where did it start?
Actually, it started, like you say, 2019. We were at the Tour de France, and we were flying to the Tour de France, and G was having a bit of a whinge about the media, and I backed him 100%, and he said, you know, the Tour de France with the media is really intense. It's full on. All the interviews, and I'm there thinking, yeah, all the interviews. So it's a pain in the arse, isn't it, mate? Yeah, all that, yeah. And we said, how can we get out of them? How can we avoid it, or how can we save some time? Because it eats into your recovery. So we said, right, we'll just record a podcast. Anyone for 3 weeks who asks for an interview, say, listen to the pod, everything's on there. So, and that's how it launched. We sent producer George over to the supermarket. He bought a microphone, and we sat on the bed, and that was the launch of Watts Occurring. And it just kicked off from there, really. So it saved G hours and hours during the Tour de France, saved me about 6 minutes. But that was where it all started.
And there wasn't really anybody especially in the cycling space and in kind of the sporting world, that was doing podcasts at the time.
No, it was quite, I don't want to big what we've done up too much.
Go on, big it up.
Yeah, it's incredible. But it was quite revolutionary at the time in terms of, we were definitely the first two cyclists who were current professional cyclists and still podcasting, so we were the only ones giving an opinion who were actually in the sport as it was happening, not retired and an ex-pro. We were in the thick of it, and you know, current. So there was that, and then then obviously with the launch of Watts Occurring Femmes now, which is still quite young, but without realizing it, a similar thing has happened, and a similar pattern in terms of being ahead of the trend. We got yourself, you know, ex-professional cyclist, gone through GCN. Now you're onto something new, and then you got Emma, who's a current professional track cyclist, top of the game. And in the track world, there's probably I'm not going to quote this, but there's nobody else doing it.
I don't think there is. I don't think there's a track cycling female podcast from my view.
Is there a male?
The piece take a little bit, but
they're rubbish.
There's not a huge amount.
They're rubbish.
But when you started the podcast, was there a process to it, or were you like, right, let's just click record, chat about the day, chat about the race, what happened?
We sat on the bed, and it was about as structured then as it is now, to be honest. We sat on the bed, pressed record, we said, right, what do we do now? And we started talking, and it just happens naturally. I think when you're talking about something you're passionate about, if you ask me to talk about that wall or a horse race, and something I know nothing about, or something I've got no passion about, I'm going to struggle. Let's not forget, like before we all turned pro and done what we've done on the bike and post-career, whatever it may be, we grew up as fans of the sport. And although we've gone through the process of being professional athletes, there's still just that fan of the sport inside me. Nothing's changed in that aspect. So if you're talking about something you love, it just becomes quite easy and quite natural. So we just sat on the bed in our undercrackers, spoke for an hour, pressed, or half an hour, whatever it was, press stop and send it out.
Yeah, and obviously you were giving such a insight into what happened in the race that maybe people wouldn't be able to hear. And obviously at the time you were on one of the biggest cycling teams in the world. Did they have a say in what went on the pod? Were they happy about the pod? How did that go? Any gossip?
Well,
was it quite a secretive team?
Yeah, I mean, and from the outside, I mean, you look at Team Sky when they first started, then they became Ineos, and from the outside, which wasn't how it was on the inside, it was quite, a closed team. It wasn't the team that, you know, like Jayco or Quickstep would be from the outside, where they have a good time and they're a bit crazy. It was quite a professional, you know, the bus was called the Death Star. It was all quite negative and closed off. They didn't give a lot out. And then suddenly these two Welsh idiots launched a podcast and just...
Ruined it all.
And yeah, we started it and we didn't really ask for permission. We just went for it. And, you know, a few episodes in, you get a message off the media guy or off the, you know, head of comms or whatever. Don't say that. You shouldn't have said that. And it went on every week. You shouldn't have said that. Don't say that. And after about 3 months, they just said, we've lost them. Yeah, do what you want. It's a lost cause. And then we were kind of, I mean, we've got ourselves in a bit of trouble now and then, but I think we've always said, press record, talk, press stop. And unless you say something really bad or you swear for no reason, because kids do listen to the podcast, we tried to tone that down, made an effort to tone that down, actually. So everyone can listen.
Yeah.
You know, if my kid was into cycling, I'd want him to be able to listen. But yeah, it just come natural to us, and you just press play, press stop, and don't edit it. And that's something we want to continue to do, is just keep it rough around the edges. And I think now, as not just cycling, but most sports interviews go now, I think they're quite boring. And, you know, any sport needs big characters. And we had, you know, you roll back, you know, Cav, massive character, Sagan, you know, these huge personalities within the sport, you need them.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of interviews, sadly, because of the social media and everyone's got an opinion, and you say one thing wrong, you get battered. And a lot of interviews, how was the race? The race was good. Thank you to the team. I'm really happy to win. And 9 out of 10
You
interviews
need more than that.
are sadly like that now. And that's not my opinion, that's a fact. Most interviews are quite boring. So I'm quite keen just to, you know, say it. If you say something stupid, own it, and just send it out.
And back when you were racing and doing the pod, did it ever get too much? Because it is a big commitment. Like, once you've got this podcast ball rolling, like, there's no stopping. You know, you have to keep on the episodes. And obviously, when you're racing, you know, racing all day, you get back, you recover, eat, massage. Was there ever a point where you were like, well, this is a bit much? Like, can we fit this in all the time?
Yeah, definitely. I think there was times where you finish a stage and the last thing you want to do is talk about cycling, look at cycling, think about the bike. You just want to zone out. Yeah. But actually, at the earlier stage there, it was just, if we both felt like that, we wouldn't do it. Unpopular opinion, but it's harder as a DS to do than as a rider. Yeah, because as a rider, when you cross the finish line, everything's taken care of. You go on the bus, you do this, massage, dinner, lovely jubbly. But as a DS, when the riders cross the finish line, your work starts for the next day, and it's like it's a conveyor belt, and you don't go to sleep until God knows when. So doing them as a DS, like at Tour of Britain, we were doing quite a few every day, a couple in person. And I said, yeah, I'll do it, but it just meant I go to bed an hour later. Yeah. I was going to bed at 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning because the work still had to be done, and it takes an hour of your day. So, yeah, harder as a DS than a rider.
Interesting. We'll get onto the DS bit in a bit.
All right.
But obviously, you've had some incredible guests on your podcast. Who's been some of your favourite highlights?
I mean, there's some big household names. You know, Ben Stiller, that was huge.
That was amazing.
That was purely through G. He's a massive fan of G, so it's amazing to get him on the pod.
I'm sure he's a fan of you as well.
Who's this guy? But the one for me, and it's probably one that goes under the radar of a lot of people, is my hero growing up was an ice hockey player called Zdeno Chara. You know, he was like the GOAT for me. Most games ever played by an NHL defenseman. He retired at the age of 40 or 41, went through an amazing career, and he was a fan of cycling. I spoke to him, I knew him, I went to see him play, and we got him on the pod. So for me, it's a name that goes quite under the radar, but for me, he's my GOAT, he's my idol, he's my hero. So to talk to him in person was incredible.
And obviously, this year, we launched Watts Occurring Femmes. Was that always kind of something? Is that the way you wanted to develop the pod?
Do you know what? I'm gonna be brutally honest. I watch men's cycling. I watch the big races of women's cycling. I try to keep updated on both. But naturally, being in the men's sport, I focus more on the men's sport. I knew the big riders. I watched the big races. I think what women's cycling has done is incredible. But we tried to touch a little bit on women's cycling. And I said, listen, I'm happy to talk about anything that I feel I have the knowledge to talk about. And I said, I don't want to talk about something I don't feel fully qualified to talk about. So, and it deserves the platform. Like what the sport has done in the last 6 to 8 years, incredible. And that deserves to be recognized, spoken about, and for any female cycling fans, there needs to be a place to go to hear about that. Okay, you guys also talk about men's cycling and we also touch on women's cycling. There's definitely a crossover. So we said, right, how are we going to make this happen? So we just got the two best in the business and made it happen.
Nice to have ever said. Oh, Emma, come on to you now. I remember when I got the phone call asking if I wanted to be part of the pod, it was a no-brainer. It was an amazing opportunity. But what was it like for you when you got that?
Yeah, I think it was Jay that rang me, our agent. He was like, what's your thought on starting a podcast? And I was like, ooh, that's very different. As an athlete, I go to the gym, I go to the track, I go home, I focus on recovery. And I never really thought about it. For me, speaking on a podcast, I didn't really know what that would look like. I didn't know where to start. It took me a little time to think about it, but then I was like, there is a gap in the market. There isn't many, if any, women's podcasts to do with cycling. And I thought, it is a really cool opportunity. Like I said, I didn't really know what the journey would look like. And then he mentioned about doing it with you. And I was like, okay, we're both Welsh. I know you quite well. And I thought, yeah, why not? Like I said, I've made many mistakes. I've probably said things I shouldn't say, but I thought, let's give it a go. Let's give it a go.
That's when we knew we had the right to.
And yeah, ultimately, I love it. And it's, something I never thought I'd do, but I love recording the pod.
And obviously you're still training full-time, racing. Was it ever a worry that it was going to be too much of a commitment? Because I guess there's not many, especially in the track side, even less people doing what you're doing with the whole media, social media, podcasting. There's not many people doing that. Was it ever a worry that how am I going to, because we have to commit a lot of time because we record in person the whole day. Was that ever a worry?
Initially, so the year after the Olympics, my coach said to me, I haven't really competed that much this year, so I had a lot of free time, and he said to me that you need to do opportunities, you need to say yes to things, like now's your time to find out who Emma is off the bike and what I want to do. So ultimately, this year was perfect to start a podcast. I had the time, like we said, we will go to Wilmslow and Pinarello store and film quite a few episodes in a day, and it is quite a lot, but I think I'm so glad I made the time for that, and training wasn't compromised at all. We sit down, we chat. It's pretty easy, to be honest, but next year we'll see what that looks like because I will be competing a lot more, but luckily this year it's been a dream. You've had to travel so much more than I have.
Did GB ever bite back? Make sure you rest.
As in, what do you mean?
About doing the pod, did they ever go make sure you rest in and chill out? And
No, they were absolutely fine, but it was more I guess the content of having a platform. At the start, when your team, you do have a platform.
They get bored after 3 months.
Well, yeah, they've stopped now. But it is a voice, and you've used that, and people will say so many things. But no, at the moment they were yeah, you can do as you wish. Next year might look a bit differently, but for now I'm all good.
And obviously we are very open on the pod. We will talk about everything and anything. And we were talking, I think, yesterday when we were recording, that you said that a lot of your competitors, different federations, listen to the pod. Is that a worry that maybe we talk a bit too openly about how you're feeling, your training, how everything's going? You're is that too much of an insight to give your rivals?
No, I don't think so. The Dutch guys came up to me at World Championships recently and were like, we love your podcast, and other nations, and it makes you think ooh, what have I actually said?
But that's humbling as well, right?
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, because your competitors, your main rivals, are coming to you and they're like, yeah, we listen to you speaking your podcast. And I think, and you said you got that in the peloton when you first started, people will come up to you and recognize you. And I think, yeah, it's really cool. And sometimes I do think, oh, what have I said? But ultimately, we started this podcast to raise, have a voice for women in sport. I'm so passionate about getting girls into the sport and showing, I guess, the good, the bad, and the ugly. It's not, I love what I do, don't get me wrong, but it's really, really hard, and we go inside different things. We talk about periods, and we talk about the nutrition side of it and like looking different when you're growing up. And I think that's amazing. So yeah, it was strange when people come up to you, but I think that's part of it. And that's ultimately why we started it, to get more people talking about cycling and women in sports. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
And I feel like we've got off to quite a good start with the podcast. We've had so many great guests and episodes on the pod already, and I guess some of my favourites have been like ones we've done on the menstrual cycle.
Yeah.
Ones that I've been like quite nervous to talk about and film because there isn't a load of podcasts out there about it. But I remember like once we got it out, I had so many messages being like, "Thank you so much for covering that topic and talking about that," because that's really raised awareness for, women in sport, and also so many from men as well. Like, being like, I've got daughters that ride, and this information really helped me. But what's your highlight episode or guest that we've had on so far?
I love the pod with Amy. I thought that was really, really cool. But we've actually just filmed a podcast with Emma Lloyd. She's an F1 Academy driver. And I think for me, I love motorsport. And I did not think I'd be sitting in a room with someone so close to that side of the world. And if we hadn't started a podcast, I probably wouldn't. So things like that are really cool. Like, you meet people and you talk about topics you probably never speak about. And hopefully we'll continue to have amazing guests on the podcast. Like I said at the start, I remember we sat down when we first started and you were like, who would you love to have on the podcast? And I actually said Tadej Pogačar, which probably will never happen.
Still waiting for that one.
That will never happen.
Yeah.
But it's things like that. Like, if you don't start and you don't try, then you don't know. And I think that's the journey we're on. And yeah, I'd love to have so many more inspirational people on the podcast.
I'm going to butt in. So I said on that first pod, I said who would be the best guest. What's the goal of the pod? It's your guys' pod. You to grab it by the balls and run. What's the end goal? Would it be a certain guest? Would it be a live show? Would it be selling out a theatre? Would it be selling merch? What would be?
All of the above.
Merch.
Yeah, I would
That'd be cool,
love merch. I think just carry on doing what we're doing, getting amazing cyclists and people that are really knowledgeable about female athletes as well. But also I love now that we've kind of, like we had Emma Lloyd on, F1 driver, we branched out into other sports as well. I think that's really cool. You've done a live podcast in Wales. I think that would be epic. Sort of carry it. We're still like so new to it, and it's going so well. I think just carry on the path we're going.
Yeah, I agree. And I think because it's filmed on YouTube as well, could we tap into that and maybe try other sports and do like a swap? Or I don't really know how the avenue will go. And yeah, social media is huge now. Like, everyone's on so many different platforms. So we could bounce off that. And I think even now, filming a live, I guess, kind of podcast, that's pretty cool. So I think merch would be sick though.
Yeah.
Do you have merch?
Yeah, we have. Yeah, I think it sold out really quick. I don't know.
There you go.
No,
Sounds about right.
no, we had we did about a year ago. I don't know where it's gone. G probably nicked it all. It's gone anyway.
Maybe merch.
Yeah.
Maybe.
What's your goals for the men's pod?
God, you put me on the spot there. I told you I was going to ask you that question.
Yeah, you did actually. Do you think you'd be here 6 years later?
We got we did a live podcast last year in Manchester. That was really cool. But I think, apart from that, what I love is the fact that it just opens doors where you can speak to different people. I would never have got a chance to sit down with Zdeno Chara, my hero, and talk to him for an hour. Even within the sport, cycling, you speak to people, it genuinely interests me. You speak to people from other teams, and you notice the first 5-10 minutes they're quite closed, and then they just relax, and they give you an insight, and it genuinely, I learn off podcasts, I learn off speaking to people. So I think it's just never stop learning. So you keep speaking to these people, and it just opens doors to speak to, very intelligent people from different sports and different walks of life. So for me, it's just, it's almost like a tool just to keep learning and keep making myself better at what I do now.
We are delighted to be working with Rouvy on Watts Occurring Femmes, and we have a great offer for you. You can use promo code FEMMES, FEMMES, for an additional 30 days on top of the 7-day free trial.
This is applicable to new subscribers only.
Rouvy's on a mission to bring the indoors to the outdoors, connecting you with real routes from around the world to your home. And in the summer, you can utilise Rouvy to do specific training sessions or to hide from the heatwave.
Rouvy's new route creator tool also allows riders to upload their favourite loops onto Rouvy. Everyone can easily convert their own video into a virtual route to ride at home. We've got some big plans with Rouvy over the next few months, so watch this space.
And remember to use the code FEMMES, FEMMES, for an extra month on us when you subscribe for the first time.
Right then, sports fans, how many of you use a VPN?
Well, if you do, or you know you need one, we've got a special offer from NordVPN.
There's a whole list of reasons why a VPN can be critical, from accessing your favourite content, like cycling while abroad, to protecting household devices to ensure you can safely access the internet.
NordVPN makes it effortless to do all of that and more. We connect to NordVPN with one click, change our virtual location easily. This means we never have to worry about missing a race.
Now we're not riding the Tour de France anymore. NordVPN makes sure we can watch it, wherever we are. We can also secure our internet connection on public Wi-Fi in airports, hotels, cafes, anywhere we go.
So if you want to try NordVPN for yourself, go to nordvpn.com/what's occurring. And our link will give you an extra 4 months for free on a 2-year plan. It's the best discount available and equivalent to the price of a cup of coffee per month.
Plus, there's no risk with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee.
So that's nordvpn.com/what's occurring. We've also left a link in the podcast description if you need it.
This year you've had the transition from racing in the pro peloton to almost the different side. How has that transition been? Is that something that you always knew you wanted to do?
Yeah, it's been, for those who don't know, I was riding with Ineos until Sky, then Ineos until middle of last year, and then now I'm working for Decathlon AG2R as a DS. So it's been a big change. And, I joined the team and signed the contract, and I said to my wife, if it doesn't work for me, you, or the kids, I'll stop it. It's been very much about me the past 10 years as a professional athlete. We all know you have to be to a certain level quite selfish. You've got to put yourself first, which when you've got a wife and kids is hard, but you've got to put yourself first or otherwise you're going to fail. So I said, if it doesn't work, I'll stop. And it's just, it's really worked. I mean, I'm away 130, 140 days a year, but that's a negative way to look at it. The positive way is, I'm home 210, 220. Which job in the world are you home 220 days a year? So it works from that side of the things with the family, and honestly, I love it.
Really?
Absolutely love it. And I wake up and I'm on my laptop and I'm motivated. I'm 100 mile an hour, and it's.
What does an average day look like for a DS?
Day in the life.
Oh, yeah.
Wake up at 11:30. No, when I'm at home, wake up 7:30, take the kids to school, back home for 9:05, sit at the computer, miss lunch, work till 3:15, go pick up the kids from school. So the kids don't even know I work. And then a working day when I'm on the road is dusk till dawn. And actually, it was quite daunting the first few races. You go and you have 7 riders. You have, depending on the scale of the race, how big it is, you have 10, 12 members of staff, maybe 15, and essentially there's 20 people and you are in charge of that 20 people.
Big responsibility.
On and off the bike. You got to make the shots, make the calls for on the bike, but what people don't realize with the DS is, if something goes wrong off the bike, Luke, what are we doing? What's the problem? And you make a plan every night, and every day something goes wrong. Every day, naturally. Someone misses a flight, someone's crashed, someone has to go to hospital, we got a puncture of the car. Every day there's a problem, and I love that. Luke, what are we going to do? All right, here we go. Right. So you're always kind of problem solving, and no 2 days are the same. But it really does motivate me. I'm very much in the classics part of it. And I was looking at it the other day, and the team's existed for 34 years. And of the 5 monuments, our best ever results are 3 second places, 2 third places. We've never won a monument. And to me, that is super motivating. I could have gone to another team, I could have stayed at Ineos, done whatever, but if I could join this team and maybe just make a small something different, just do some good things, and if we were to win a monument after getting 5 podiums in 34 years and failing to win one, to me that just gets me out of bed in the morning.
How are you going to make that happen?
Don't know yet. No, I think it's not one thing, is it? It's 1,000 things. And it's waking up every day and turning over a new leaf and seeing what can we do here, what can we do there. There's a long list. There's equipment, there's recruitment is obviously huge. That's the biggest one. If we can sign Matthew Van Der Poel tomorrow, we got a very good chance of winning the monument. That's clear. Yeah. But that's the easy way, and that's the expensive way. But it's everything. I could talk about what it takes or what I think it will take. I haven't got all the answers, but what I think it will take is a long list, and I could talk your ear off. But to me, it's just like we're on a mission.
Yeah.
When can we achieve this? How do we achieve this? And let's just slowly get there.
Obviously, you've probably had many good days as a DS in the car, but have you had any terrible days where a lot of things have gone wrong?
The worst thing about being a DS is, and I never thought about this as a rider, so you're in the car, you're driving along, or you're in the passenger seat, and you hear crash on the radio. So the radio tour says crash, and they start reeling off the names. Decathlon number 17, or whoever it is, Jumbo number, and they go through the riders, and you're thinking, your first thought is, I hope it's not one of ours. You hope you don't hear your name. And if you don't hear your name, you go past the crash. But any rider who has crashed and is not seriously hurt is stood up and they're on their bike. And if their bike's okay, they're gone.
Yeah.
So by the time you pass the crash, any rider who is still there is hurt. And it's like, that's someone's son, husband, and whoever it is, your team, another team, old rider, teammate, someone you disliked even, whoever it is, you're like, that is a poor guy and he's in a lot of pain. And that's like, I never thought about it. And as you're driving through, you're just seeing grown men in a lot of pain, sometimes unconscious, bleeding, broken bones. And to go past that, that's the
And also, a lot of time, they are your friends as well, especially because you've been racing for so long. That must be hard to see, or just to drive past and...
Yeah, whoever it is, I certainly know from some extent, I might have just said hello to them passing in a corridor in a race in a hotel. But it's one aspect I never thought of. And as a rider, if you're not involved in the crash, off you go. If you are, where's my bike? Where's my... Go. Or if you really hurt yourself, you're down and you're out of it anyway.
Yeah.
But you're never really looking round. If it's your teammate, you go straight to your teammate, you help your teammate. But you're not really aware of, you just want to get back on your bike and go. You're not looking at, he's cut to bits, he's broken his collarbone, he's unconscious, you go in. But as a DS, you drive through, you see it all. And that's the, winning races, being part of guys winning races is fantastic and success. But when you see that, it's like, oof, that's someone's little boy down there, and he's in a mess. And that's the part that I hate. But yeah, I just look out the other window.
Emma, coming on to you now. You've had a bit of a quieter year with racing, but you have just come back from the Track World Championships in Chile. Tell us all about that.
Yeah, so this year, obviously the year after the Olympics, the main competition for me was the World Championships in Chile, where I got 2 silvers, which for me... Thanks. And I think for me, coming back, this is my 4th Worlds, which was a bit crazy. I didn't think at 22 I'd be going to my 4th Worlds as, I guess, kind of a senior rider, which was...
Because you went with quite a young team. So
Yeah.
You went with the team sprint team that was a brand new team, basically, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You were the most experienced rider in it.
Yeah, so the 2 girls I rode with in team sprint, that was their first Worlds, and they were both 22, and this is my 4th. So I was going in, I guess, with experience, and that for me, I love that role, and I think for me, that was a win in itself. Like, success for me in a team sprint was trying to lead these girls a little bit, like I'd been in that position before, and to come away with a silver medal in that event was amazing, and I think I was so proud of them, and I was so proud of the team, and to have that depth. I think Team GB women's sprint haven't had that depth for years. We've had like Becky James and Katie Marchant, but there's only been like a few single riders. But to have we have 8 to 10 girls who can slot in when we don't have the Olympic team and get a silver medal is incredible. So that event for me, that was amazing. And then going on to the sprint, going in as defending champion was the challenge. I've been in that position before, and I did want to come away with a gold medal. Like, that's why I race. That's why I love riding my bike. Like, I go there to win. And to me, I didn't train this hard for a year to come away with nothing. And in that event I did. I came sixth. I got relegated, and it was a really hard pill to swallow. I remember when I came home, Beth Shriver, the BMX girl that won gold, she said to me, why were you not honest on your Instagram account? Like, I want to know the truth about what actually happened.
Yeah, I feel like we should talk about this a bit more. Because, people don't talk about it.
I was just like, yeah, it's a race, like it's done. But yeah, it did. I cried so much, like I was really upset.
Let's go back to the sprint.
Yeah.
How did you get relegated?
So,
what did you do wrong?
For anyone who didn't see, me and this Russian girl were actually like hitting each other on the track, and
Never been more proud of you.
yeah, there you go, success. Which for me, I've never been in that position before. For me, I get on with the race. I'm either really far ahead or so for me, I was literally, me and this Russian girl, 3/4 of a lap to go, were like hitting each other. And for me, the racing, I just didn't race very well. I couldn't find my feet. I didn't really get into the groove. And to be honest, I didn't deserve to be in that semi-final.
Is that like the pressure that you maybe put on yourself going in as defending world champion? Like you got in your head a little bit too much?
Yeah, I wanted it more than, I think I just wanted it so much. Yeah. And for me, I lost who I was as a rider. I just felt all over the place. And it just, sometimes you have to learn from things. And that for me was a learning curve. Your career is not going to be plain sailing, amazing. I mean, it can be, but it will be a roller coaster. And I think for me, that was a way to be like, okay, I need to learn from this, and we need to go back to the drawing board, and I need to look at tactics, and it will only help me in my career, but it was a tough pill to swallow in the moment because all eyes on you as defending world champion, and I didn't even make it to the semi-finals.
And you found out you got relegated from a text.
Yeah.
When you got off the track.
Yeah, Matty texted me afterwards to say, you've been relegated, because it came up on the screen. So in the moment, I was like, I've won the race. Like, I'm in. Like, I'm through. And the race was scrappy, but I won it. And then I was cooling down, and I got a message being like, you're relegated. And I was like, really? And we both were giving it to each other. Like, it was a really scrappy race. And I ultimately got relegated. And I think for me, I will learn so much for that. But in the moment, I was a state. Like, and that's elite sport. That's sport. You can't win them all. You learn from things, and I just need to make sure I came away from that and learned, not just parked it and didn't watch it and didn't learn from it.
And obviously that was kind of the middle race. You still had the Kieran to go.
Yeah.
How do you kind of get back in the right mind space to race again after like something that's quite disappointing? You wanted more from that.
Yeah. My coach actually took me for ice cream.
Nice.
he was like, right, we need to reset. What's happened's happened. I had 2 days in between the sprint and the Kieran. And he was like, right, we're going to go for a chat, reset, because as a sprinter, I compete in 3 events. So I've done this many times. Like, it's not just one event and I'm done. I have 3 events. So I needed to reset, because ultimately I could have carried that into the Kieran, and I could have just been angry and kind of like lost my head. But instead, we reset, and I went in again in the Kieran, and it was amazing. Like, I was a completely different person. I loved racing my bike. I felt no pressure. And I think, I raced amazingly, and I came away with my first individual medal at the Worlds in a Kieran. And in the moment, I was gutted when I crossed the line, because I really wanted that rainbow jersey. But looking back now, I'm so proud of what I did, because I reset, I came back, and I won a silver medal. And for me, that was an achievement in itself. But the Worlds was a roller coaster, and I think looking back now, I will learn a lot from that. Just in the moment, it was hard.
And I think from interviewing you at races and obviously getting to do the pod with you, one of my favourite kind of things that you say is it's just a bike race. Mm-hmm. Where did that come from? And even, when you're at the World Championships, the Olympics, do you still think, right, it's no different, it is just a bike race?
Yeah, so my psychologist leading into the Paris Olympics, it was my first Olympic Games. I was going in as one of the favourites, defending world champion. And I remember him saying to me, like, it is just a bike race, and like, you need to find your reason why. Like, why do you ride your bike? Like, what is the reason you ride a bike? And for me, the reason was I ride my bike because 8-year-old me loved it. Like, I made so many friends. I got to go outside, and that's ultimately why I ride my bike. And it is just a bike race because you come back, you come home, and you've done your race, and life still goes on. Like, the world keeps spinning. You come home, you go back into training, and ultimately you move on to the next. As athletes, we have the next goal, the next thing. And for me, I needed perspective. So I give everything to riding my bike, and I needed more. I needed to have that balance. I needed to come home and be like, okay, what else can I do? And what else can I think about when I'm racing a bike, just to have that perspective, so I keep enjoying this sport. And it's just a bike race. Because ultimately, I'm riding around in circles, and that's all it is. It's literally simple. And when you have that, for me, I race a lot better. I have more fun. I enjoy it more because you have that perspective. But still to this day, like, I'll get angry and I'll get frustrated. But ultimately, it's just a bike race.
And Luke, so now G's retired, you've retired. Will the pod be any different? Because hopefully you're still going to have the insight into the racing, but maybe from a different kind of perspective now.
Yeah, something we spoke about in depth, actually, because, like I said, 2019, 2 current professionals in the thick of it, in their prime, giving an inside scoop. Fantastic. The years go by. I stop. Okay, brilliant. We've still got G in the thick of it. Oh, Luke's a DS. Okay, we've got 2 sides of the fence. Winner. All right, G's retired. Right, what are we going to do now? So I think we're definitely going to carry on. We'll wait and see what G decides to do next year. Might have a job. I don't know what he's going to do. And then I'm going to carry on with what I'm doing. So I think we can still give a pretty good insight from the other side of the fence, but from the inside. I think we definitely get guests on, so there'll be plenty of current riders who are in the thick of it, in the race, can really give an inside scoop, inside gossip. So, no, we definitely want to carry it on. All guns blazing is something that it feels like a little baby, We started it in 2019. It's gone from strength to strength, and it's just it's exciting. I think we got a few things up our sleeve, what we can do, but definitely keep it going, yeah.
And obviously the team you work for now, are they wary of what you say on the pod, the insights you give, or are they all right with it?
Don't understand a word.
Fair enough, makes it easy.
No. We've actually got one of the avid listeners is our CFO, Chief Financial Officer. When I joined the team, he was like, "Oh, I've listened to every pod." I think they listen to a few. I'm not sure how big the podcast culture is in France in general, but no, they're aware. They're super cool. I try and say the right things. Try and say it as it is. Sometimes I'll say how great the team is. Sometimes I'll criticize the team a little bit, but I'll always try and give my honest and transparent opinion. Watch out, mate. But no, they're really happy with it.
And obviously this year, you've got your book out.
Yep.
Was that always the plan? Did you always want to have a book, or was it, do you know what, let's do a book?
No, so I retired, and it was a case of, I got a phone call. Luke, do you want to do a book? And I said, no, I think it's, a very stereotypical thing is an athlete of any sport has a career, they finish the career, and they write an autobiography. I did this, I did that. And it's very self-promoting. And I said no, it's, and for me, it was always like people who write a book is like superstars, like the guys who win the big races. And I'm proud of what I did as a career in my career, but it's by no means, one of the superstars. That's clear. So it was a no. And then a week went past, and they said, "Oh, we got a bit of an idea. Write a book and put a bit of a different twist on it, a bit of a different angle. We'll try and explain the role of a road captain." I said, "All right, just give me a bit of time to have a think about it." And I was thinking about it, yes, no, and I thought, right, if I can look into that, write it, do it, and I was envisioning it, somebody reads it 2 weeks before the Tour de France, and they can read that and then watch the Tour de France and have a bit more of an idea when they're watching the race, a bit more of an idea of actually what's going on. Because we can watch a race and go, well, I know why they're doing that, I know why they're moving there.
There's so many things that I feel like we take for granted because we've been there and done that. But for, I guess, someone who's never been in a bike race, there are so many elements to making the bike race happen and why you make decisions.
100%. And I think, like, if you see a rider move, in 10th place, 10 centimetres to the left, because he's got a teammate on his right, and why has he done that? And if he didn't do that, his team wouldn't be together. Just these little things. And I thought, if I can put that out there and somebody can watch the Tour de France, have a bit more of a understanding, then why not? And we've still, I'm in an Arvin. And my wife said, Luke, our two boys will have no idea what you've done in your career. They're too young. When they're older, Daddy rode a bike, I haven't got a clue, amazing. But if you can give them a book when they're 15 and it's you on the front cover, and I said, right, that's cool.
That's cool.
He's done
Cool,
it.
done, yeah.
He's doing
So we went with it, and it's been exciting. I've really enjoyed it, yeah.
And you are doing a book signing right after this, aren't you?
Yep, so I don't know exactly where we're going to be, but I'm going to be out there in the jungle somewhere.
I think it's going to be in the cafe.
It's going to be in the
there,
cafe.
and he's going to sign every single book that comes
Yeah,
to
so
him.
we got books for sale. Help fund my mortgage. It would be great. So, I've retired now. Times are tough. No, so I think you can buy books, and if you sign there, and I'll say hello, and we'll have a beer, whatever you want to do. So hopefully, if you want to head over, great. If you don't, unlucky.
Well, thank you very much, Emma and Luke, and thank you everybody for listening.
Thank
Thank you so
Manon.
much.
A reminder that today's show is hosted by Pinarello, and we're lucky enough to be in the Wilmslow store today. And me and Emma actually both love riding our F-Series bikes, don't we, Emma?
We do.
We went on a ride recently together, didn't we?
The cafe ride was really, really fun. And I've actually ridden a lot more on the road since having my new bike. It makes such a difference.
Do you love it?
Yeah, I absolutely love it. The white on the road against the kit is amazing. It's such a dream to ride.
This is your start of you becoming a road rider in the future.
No, guys, don't worry about that. But it does make a huge difference having a nice bike and being able to go out. I think, yeah, it definitely makes it more enjoyable. It definitely makes you want to go out because you have this such a nice bike underneath you. And yeah, I do really enjoy it.
Don't just take our word for it. Head to your local Pinarello retailer and check out the whole range for yourself.
Search Pinarello Store Locator to find your nearest store.